In this video, I'll show you how you can transport SAP Cloud Integration or CPI iFlows with full governance and approval using the Figaf Tool. So here I have an iFlow. I've just made a change to it. What I can do is I can go to the Figaf Tool. Here I can see that I have created an iFlow and that has just been changed. The way we handle transports and changes in the Figaf Tool is we create tickets for them. So create a ticket, we select which landscapes we want to be using for this, and we will then put in a JIRA ID for this and why we want to do this. We put in the description of this change and then we press save. So now I have a transport with this artifacts. I just want to attach all the dependent objects so I get all the scripts and packages that is a part of this transport. Next up is I will go to the test cases and I will look up which test cases we do have already here. And what I can do is I can say add this test case to it, and you should obviously add all the test cases that you have on the system, and you can then run these on one of the systems in your landscape. When we run these test cases, it will switch the iFlow into trace mode, send messages to it, download all the artifacts from the specific test case, and then it will compare to see if the messages is as they would expect. This takes a little while, so let me just pause. So now we can see that the test case has run and it is successful. We can go into view the results if you want to check it out. And if there's any differences, we could easily go in and we could see specifically where there was a problem. We could add to ignore certain cases if we wanted to do that. But this test case is fine, and that means I can now start the transport. So let me start the transport. And with this, I can go to the transport process. And here we can start with configuring specific iFlows that we want to transport. First thing is we want to configure the artifacts that's a part of this. We can see here we have a system that's called HANA Dev. We want to call it HANA Test. So we can see the old and the new value. We can specify if there's API keys that is a part or interesting as a part of these different systems. So we can see all of these different values that's a part of this process. And this makes it easier. We can search on items that only have been changed, etc., making it a lot easier for us to review changes that have occurred. One of the things I also have is I can compare this iFlow that I have with the iFlow that already exists in the QA or productive system, as we can see. So we can see here there's some changes here. It is this iFlow that there is a attribute that was changed from one value to another, and we have here the version we want to upload. So this makes it a lot easier to compare values. We also have a diff to HTML that will give us a text view of the changes that have happened, where you can see which artifact has been deleted, which has been changed. You can see the sections in the BPMN model that has been changed, and I also think we made a groovy change in this process. So now I have, as a developer, validated this and says this is ready for approval. I can send it to approval, and then only people that are allowed to approve. It's easy to set up that you cannot approve your own transports. But now as an approver, I have the same option here to go in and check what they have set up of the changes. I can go and compare the different views. We also have message mapping, etc., and see if this follows our guidelines, etc. And then once I'm done, I just select approve it, and we can now import it. And you can define who can import it, and once it has done the import, it would apply the configuration that you have selected, and depending on your setting, it would also deploy this iFlow. And once it has done that, it will log all the changes that you have made. in this, making it a lot easier for you to remember which artifact has been changed as a part of this process. Now the transport has been completed. We have a rollback option if something happens that we did not want to go through, and we can just go back to our ticket, set it to resolved, and that means we have completed it. We can create a report that shows everything that we have done as a part of this. And this report can then be uploaded to Jira, ServiceNow, or where you're documenting your changes. So we can see it has here the history, which objects was a part of this, the test cases we ran, the test result, the transports that we ran through this and who approved this, etc. So we got all of the information that is relevant for governance process to trust the changes that are happening in the systems. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out more at figaf.com.